Legitimacy is not the result of how they feel about it. You know, you can't win them all, and elections have consequences. And what this administration and this Republican Senate has done is exercise the power that was given to us by the American people in a manner that is entirely within the rules of the Senate and the Constitution of the United States.
And I want to be very clear with my Republican colleagues. You may win this vote, and Amy Coney Barrett may become the next Associate Justice of the Supreme Court. But you will never, never get your credibility back. And the next time the American people give Democrats a majority in this chamber, you will have forfeited the right to tell us how to run that majority.
You know, I love watching stuff like this. This is like, I need some popcorn.
No.
No, I'll tell you why. It's great. You're going to, every word that Mitch McConnell just said.
Yeah.
Every single word. And if Democrats have half a brain, and if they're not wimps, they will actually lift that speech word for word and use it when they expand the court to 11 or 12 justices. Yeah. Because what Mitch McConnell said, he's right. They have the constitutional right to do this.
Sure.
Democrats shouldn't whine. They should have won the last election. Hey, Mitch McConnell, he has a constitutional right to lie through his teeth and lie to his voters. Lindsey Graham, it's maddening, but Lindsey has a constitutional right to lie through his teeth to the people of South Carolina, as he's just done repeatedly, time and time again. But here's the deal. What is true for Republicans is true for Democrats. And as Mitch McConnell said, this doesn't violate the rules of the Senate, because, of course, he makes the rules of the Senate, and it doesn't violate the Constitution of the United States. Neither does expanding the Supreme Court to 11 or 12 justices. That doesn't violate the Constitution. And again, everything Mitch said will apply to that next year in the Judiciary Reform Act of 2021. And it's so radical. It is so radical. Nobody in American history has done this except for, wait for it, George Washington, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, Andrew Jackson, Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, my goodness.
Republicans after Abraham Lincoln died, Ulysses Grant. You know why they did that? Because the Constitution allowed them to do that. So, you already have some anti-Trumpers whining right now about, oh, this would be the worst thing, starting their whining. Just listen to what Mitch said, because you're going to hear it again in 2021, and the Democrats are going to expand the court unless they just want to be run over the way they were run over the past 2 years, with Mitch McConnell changing the rules of the Senate time and time again. So, but that's up to the Democrats. I don't know if they're strong enough to do it or not, but I'll tell you what, Republicans would do it.
Yeah, they have.
If Harry Reid had done this to them, to shove two liberals down their throats and lied through their teeth to do it both times, I can just tell you, you know what, I'm a former Republican, but I know how Republicans think. We would do it in a second, and we would use Mitch McConnell's words against him. And there wouldn't be a thing that they could do about it, and I'll tell you why. Because the American people have seen how disgusting Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham have been over the past several years, how they've lied to the American people, how they've made up new rules, how they've then broken those rules, how they've done everything possible to get this 6-3 advantage. And guess what? Guess what, Democrats? That's their constitutional right. They have the constitutional right to do that. And Democrats, you have the constitutional right to add a couple more justices next year.
All right.
We'll see how that goes. But Casey Hunt, what is the atmosphere on Capitol Hill with Amy Coney Barrett now going on the Supreme Court, despite all the guarantees that Lindsey Graham and Mitch McConnell gave several years ago?
Yeah, it's pretty poisonous. People are pretty angry, pretty demoralized. And, you know, there's a fight looming, I think, among Democrats next year if they win the way that some of them are starting to expect that they're going to. And it's about this very question. And, you know, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez used pretty stark terms that I think you're kind of alluding to, Joe. She said, expand the court. Republicans do this because they don't believe Democrats have the stones to play hardball like they do. And for a long time, they've been correct. And that's going to be the pressure. And the difference, the divide, as much as it's between progressives and centrist Democrats, again, if they win, is going to be between people that want to play by the rules and the norms and people who think that Republicans have thrown all of that out the window and that they need to basically use the same strategy that Republicans have been using as they have governed Washington over the course of the last 4 years. So, you know, they got to win first. And I think that Amy,
you know, you talk about playing by the rules, though. I mean, playing by the rules, as Mitch McConnell says, it's the Constitution. The Constitution sets the boundaries of the rules. And when Mitch McConnell declared the Garland rule and then got rid of the filibuster for Supreme Court nominees, and then broke the Garland rule, he proved that the only boundaries, the only guardrails are the Constitution of the United States. So why wouldn't Democrats live by the McConnell rule, that we are only bound by the Constitution of the United States and can do whatever we want to do? We can do what George Washington and John Adams and Thomas Jefferson and Andrew Jackson and Abraham Lincoln and Ulysses Grant. We can do the same thing those presidents did. Why wouldn't they do that? I guarantee you Republicans, if they were run over this way for 4 years, would do that in a New York second. Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.